this is going to be a conversation with my sister, Kayla, aka KJNA Fit. She is a mother of three, certified personal trainer through ISSA, and overall just a love, light, and positivity individual. I wanted to talk to her today to kind of talk about her journey as, you know, through motherhood, through fitness, through just kind of finding herself as a person, because I feel like she's a really interesting person, and that's kind of the guiding principle of what I want this magazine to be, is, you know, real conversations with everyday people. You know, I feel like I have a lot of extraordinary people in my life, and Kayla is one of them. She was the perfect person to start this magazine off with, and I just wanted to have a real conversation about things that people might not, you know, normally feel comfortable talking about. One of those is forgiveness. I feel like we all struggle to forgive ourselves and other people, but I think honestly the hardest thing that a lot of people struggle with is forgiving themselves. You know, especially, you know, being open and talking about forgiving ourselves is something that I feel like we don't really do. And honestly, like, anybody who knows Kayla knows that she's the perfect person to talk about. Like, this subject fits her very well. So, you know, we talk about a lot of things today, but the general theme is going to be finding forgiveness, and that's also the namesake of this first March issue. So we have a good conversation. Might be kind of long, so forewarning you. But I do hope you stay around, because I do feel that it is a good conversation that needs to be had, and you know, hopefully it can make somebody out there a little more comfortable to approach the subject of forgiveness with others, themselves, or however they see fit. So with that being said, this is Over Coffee, and today's guest is KJNA Fit. Hello, sister.
Hello.
So I wanted to sit down and have a conversation with you over coffee.
Clearly.
Because I feel like your story over the last 5 years specifically has been really inspiring. And I can't, don't look at me like that. I'm trying to give you your flowers.
Thank you. I'll look up.
An honor to watch. I, being your blood sister, you know, have witnessed you firsthand through many phases of your life. And I feel like I see a side of you that a lot of people don't get to see. And therefore, it might be easier to have conversations like this with me. Then again, sometimes it's not, because sometimes, you know, having deep conversations with family or people who you talk to every day can be the hardest. But I kind of want to start off by trying to gauge, like, your journey of the last 5 years through your eyes, like how you feel. Like, just take me from the top, like what everything. I feel like there's two different Kaylas, maybe three. I feel like, you know, there's high school Kayla, college Kayla, and then there's, like, obviously motherhood Kayla, but there's, like, KJNA Fit.
So maybe four Kaylas.
So maybe four Kaylas, yeah. So walk us through your multiple personalities.
Oh my goodness, you want me to start from high school?
No, I mean, you can just start from the most recent one, the one that
My Cajun fit,
Yes.
Kayla.
Yeah, like your journey over the last 5 years. So 2020 to now.
So I guess I'll try to make this like as quick as possible because this could be a 5-hour long conversation.
Right.
But I mean, it really all started in 2020 when the pandemic hit. I was working at a childcare place. I won't say the name of it, but I was working at a childcare place, and I was working there for 3 years. And I remember being in, like, whenever I was actively working in childcare, I hated my job. I loved my job, but I just felt like I was supposed to be doing something else. Like, it just didn't feel like, I don't know, and I didn't feel appreciated. I was battling postpartum depression, so I didn't like how I was looking. Oh my goodness, guys, I used to go to work wearing broken glasses. And not caring. Like, I'm talking about crooked chips on my glasses, like not caring how I looked at all. I didn't care how I looked. I didn't care how I presented myself. I was just trying to get there. I was a mom, and I thought that that's all I was a mom. So fast forward to places getting shut down because of the pandemic, and it was like around, I want to say around like April of 2020 or beginning of May of 2020, I decided to just like start exercising because I was like, okay, like I've always been an athlete. I need to move my body because I don't like how I look. So I'm gonna just exercise. So I went in my basement and I did a couple of things like for numbers, like 100 jumping jacks, 200 crunches.
I remember them days.
50 squats. I don't even remember, but I like recorded them and then like sped them up. And I remember putting them on, at the time I had a personal Instagram page. I don't even remember what that name was. But I had
Zam Case Gorgeous.
Was it Zam Case Gorgeous?
I don't know what you changed it to. I feel like it might have been like K something. I can't remember, but I remember, we all remember the Zam Case Gorgeous days.
If you did it, you didn't know where you was.
Right,
but
right.
I had a personal page and I was uploading it on my stories on there. And then I had people like inquiring, like, oh my goodness, like tag me or let me know what you do, or like this is so inspirational, motivational. So, and then I had one person message me and be like, you should start going live, like working out and going live. Like I'll like tap into the live, I'll watch it and I'll do it. And I was like, that's not like a bad idea. And it wasn't even for anything other than to hold myself accountable. Like I was just trying to stick with working out. And then I was like, oh my gosh, people actually like enjoy this. So I went live on my Instagram and I had a good amount of people join in. There might have been like 15 or 20 people. And I wrote this workout up and we worked out. I found a lot of kinks and stuff. I found out about like not being able to play certain music because it would keep kicking me off. I found out how long I could go live for. At the time, back in 2020, I think you couldn't go live for more than an hour before it kicked you off. So I started structuring these routines that would last for an hour. So it just kind of started picking up. And then I don't know, I felt like people were like relying on me to show up for them, and then I was also showing up for myself, and I enjoyed it. So I started going live every night, Monday through Sunday, or Sunday to Sunday at 10 p.m.
Now I have a question. What made you, like, it's one thing to like want to do it. I feel like a lot of people like will say, damn, I need to get in shape, and they'll just do some shit. Like in high school, I remember I found a Tybo DVD in mom and dad's house, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. Oh no, it's P90X. Oh my god, bro, I found a P90X DVD in mom and dad's house somewhere, and I was like, senior year, I was like, every day I'm gonna come home and do these because I need abs. And but I wasn't gonna record it and like put it online. So I guess my question is, what made you like want to upload it? Like, what was the...
Well, I think it was just from the simple fact of what do you mean, the lives, or start
just
like,
in general? Like you said that you went downstairs and you would do like 100.
Honestly, I don't know if it was like to try to prove like I'm actually doing something,
right?
Or if I was trying to like motivate people. I couldn't tell you. In that time, I really don't know what other point I would have done it other than like accountability for myself and showing like I did this. Not to be on no cocky type stuff, but I was just trying to say like I did this, so like
Right, prove to yourself. But also, I feel that because with myself, and not to bring myself into it, but just to relate to you, like with art, with a lot of stuff I was doing when I started, I was like, people have asked me like, oh, what made you start doing that? I'm like, I don't know. I really attribute it to like a higher power. Like I feel like the universe, higher power, whatever, you know, we all subscribe to. I feel like they just have a funny way of like pushing you to your purpose, like pushing you to where you need to be. And it doesn't make sense. So you'll say to yourself like, yeah, I have no idea why I started doing that, but it's like, it's literally like a strike of God. Like you it's just like somebody else is directing your body, and your body's just like, all right, this is what we're doing now, you know, whatever. So it could be something like that.
I mean, I do think that it was that. And like I said, it just felt right. Like people kept showing up. People was telling me how much they liked it. People were recording themselves. I started doing these things called sweat checks because I wore sweet sweat. And so like I was showing people how much I sweat with the sweet sweat on, and I was like, oh, make sure you do your sweat checks. And people started tapping into the sweat checks. And then like it transpired into something where it was like, okay, like COVID's still here, but like it's getting hot and we want to be outside. So what could we do where we could work out, like more people could meet up? So I started doing free outdoor workouts at Monroeville Community Park every Sunday. Every Sunday. And those had great turnouts. Like my first one, I think there was like 4 or 5 people there. And then my biggest one might have had close to like 20 people. Right. But it was every Sunday. Like I was showing up whether one person or multiple people showed up. And I was doing these free workouts where I structured them. I brought weights. And we really did. We worked out for an hour outside. And then like, I met a couple boxing people, and they had a boxing gym. Shout out to USS Fight Academy. So I would go up there sometimes to work out. And then Coach Steve was like, you know, you could have like a couple classes here. So I did. I had a couple classes there, which turned out pretty well. But then like I hit another like spiral due to a bunch of issues, relationship issues, like mom issues, stuff like that. So I actually fell out of working out. I fell out of uploading because I was running a personal page and I was running a fitness page at that point. So I stopped. I hit this other dark point in depression, and I stopped uploading and stuff for a good while. I was still like working out, but here or there. But in that time, I used that opportunity to kind of like educate myself more. So I read more. I was doing a lot more research. I entered myself in some like mentoring groups as far as like business goes to understand the business aspect. I just wanted to take some different turns to stuff. And then I came out of the downward spiral and I started going back to the gym again. I think at the time I was going to Planet Fitness a little bit, but then I was going back to the boxing gym a little bit more.
Well, hold on one second. I think it might be helpful to kind of place where your children were at in this story at this time, just so we can kind of relate to how like the depression might have played a part in that. So at that time, all of your kids were born.
Yeah, all of them were born, and that was the end of 2020.
So you had a what-year-old, a what-year-old, and a what-year-old?
I know,
but I just want you to say it.
Well, I'm trying to make sure that I say it. I had G would have been 5. He would have just turned 5 because I'm talking about the depression months that I see in my head was December was a big month. It was like the end of November, December through the beginning of January. So G would have been 5. Leighton would have been 3 going on 4. And that means that Riley, was she? She couldn't have been 2 going on 3. No. I think I have my numbers wrong. G was born. G just turned 4.
Right.
There we go. I'm sorry. G had just turned 4 at the end of 2020. Leighton had just turned 3 at the end of December. And then Riley was 1 going on 2. She would be turning 2.
Damn.
At the end of May.
Okay. So at this time, where were their... So G and Lay had just gotten their autism diagnosis, correct?
So Leighton got his when he was 2.5 years old. And G got his about a year later. He was like 3.5 because he had just started G had just started preschool, and he was in Head Start. And I remember the Head Start people saying that, like, they didn't feel like they could accommodate the needs that he needed. So he needed to be evaluated. So Leighton, I got evaluated first for reasons that, like, sensory issue. He just was, like, demonstrating a lot of, like, autism traits or autistic traits. And G, like I said, I really wasn't even in the thought process that he could be, because he seemed like he was, like, more advanced than Leighton, because he had, like, better communication skills and like comprehension skills than Leigh did at the time, until his teachers had said something. Right. So they were, like, in their diagnosis for, I guess, at least, like, a year and a half at that point.
Okay, so where dishwasher problems. So yeah, like, did you, I feel like so many times when situations are out of our control, like, a lot of people blame themselves even though you shouldn't. Did you deal with anything like that whenever you...
Honestly, I feel like I did. But I also was at this state where I kind of, like, not that I blamed other people, but I kind of did, because I felt like at that time, like, where they were at before, like, people spoke it over their lives. And there's one thing to, like, let a parent know, like, hey, this, that, and the third, but, which I get that. I'm fully aware, especially now, of, like, being like, you know, like, I don't know, they're demonstrating these traits at this age, like, maybe you should. But at the time, I was a young adult. I was only, whenever I had G, I was 22. Whenever I had Leigh, I was 23.
Yeah, you were.
So, which means when they were in childcare, I was like 24, 25,
right,
26, like those ages. So I was also at this point where I'm like, they're freaking 1 and 2 years old. Right. Like, why? Like, I get trying to get them help as early as possible, but, like, why are we so pressed to put this label on these little kids when they could just be developing at a slower rate than what other people do? And in my mind, I was, you know, at this thought process of, like, too, like, maybe they're regressing because, like, I'm having these kids so close together. Like, G and Leigh are only 13 months apart, and then Leighton and Riley are only 18 months apart. Yeah. So it was like, I don't know, I guess I kind of did put the blame on myself a little bit, because then I started thinking, like, well, I could have been doing more. Like, what if I would have sat down more and, like, did flashcards, or, like, went over colors more, or worked on, like, communication and stuff. So I guess, yeah, I did. Like, and that probably aided in postpartum depression a lot, too, because it was mom guilt of feeling like I should have tried to do more for my kids than what I did, even though, like, looking back now, I mean, I was just doing the best that I could with the situations that I had handed to me. Right. But in that time, I mean, yeah, that probably did aid a lot into the depression aspect, because I was trying to, like, process all of this stuff, like having these boys that are on the spectrum, and them being at such a young age, and making sure, like, again, mom guilt, like, you know, I was making sure my life was so much for them that I wasn't thinking about taking care of myself. And then the moments whenever I did start to think about taking care of myself, it felt like I was doing a disservice to them as a mother, because it's like, but then, like, that's kind of what helped pull me out of that depression state, because I was like, I had to go with the thought process and understanding, like, if I'm not my best version of myself, no matter how much I do for them, I can never be the best whatever I need to be for them. Right. So it was kind of like a fuel to the fire thing. And then that's whenever I was telling myself, like, it's great to work out at home, but for me, I needed that separation from home and, like, my own stuff, and I needed to go to the gym at any point that I can. I don't even know how I was going to Planet Fitness at that time, because, I mean, Leighton would have been in preschool, and G would have been in preschool, but they only went from 8:30 to 11:30.
You just made shit shake.
But where was Riley? I can't even remember where Riley was, but I guess she was probably, like, with grandma. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think you do. I mean, I'm not a mother, obviously, and I know I can't.
It's okay.
I'm not a mother, and I know that I can't, like, speak specifically to these situations. There's certain things that only you can really speak on because you're a mom. But I do feel like I'm really observant in any situation in life, anybody going through. Not to say that I can speak on somebody's situation, but I feel like I really like observe like what people are going through and how they move through situations. And like me being your sister too, like I said, I've experienced all versions of you, bitch. So it's like I feel like I know you on a deeper level than other people do. But I feel like, yeah, like you probably did. I mean, I could kind of tell, like you blaming yourself with the, like you said, like, I could have did cards and stuff. And it's like, I get that, but it's like, also, you're basically trying to prevent the unpreventable. Like, that is something that is in them. Like, you can't change that about them, no matter how many activities you do with them. Exactly. Like, it's not going to change their diagnosis. So yeah, I think that that's just something that I'm sure that everybody just deals with, because you can't help but to think that way because you're a human being. But do you think that, like, or I guess I should say, like, how do you feel like you've handled that? Like, how did you go from that, like, saying, like, beating yourself up basically, to like forgiving yourself and saying, like, getting to the point where you said, like, now you understand, like, you did the best with the cards you were dealt?
Honestly, I felt like I was, at that time, I was really trying to tap. Sorry, I mixed dive and tap together.
It's dive. Like that Mean Girls. What did that one?
Fetch.
No. There's that scene in Mean Girls where they're like, they like mix two words together and they're like, oh my god, I can't remember that scene. I'm not. I'm cracking up. Anyways, go ahead.
But I do. I actually don't know how I came across the book that I came across, but I made like tapping into myself and my spirituality a huge thing. Like, that was really the year, like the end of 2020 going into 2021 was the year that I really tapped into like being like finding out how to heal myself from the inside and what that looks like. So I worked on like grounding more, meditation more,
right,
and just kind of like sitting in my thoughts.
Right. Now, can you explain grounding? Because I don't think everybody like knows what grounding, even though it sounds like self-explanatory. Like, what would you do when you would practice grounding?
So grounding basically is like you're becoming, it's going to sound whatever for people, but you're basically
witchcrafty.
Not even witchcrafty, it's just going to be like, oh my goodness. But you're basically, exactly, you're becoming one with the earth. And when we think of our bodies,
earthy bitches be like,
we think of our bodies as, spiritual beings, and we're just in these like flesh homes. So like it's understanding like the energy fields between like the actual earth and you, because it's all connected. Like, we're put here for a reason. So what better aspect than to release your negative energy and allow the positive energy to come back in than connecting with the earth. So you cannot ground on regular, like, concrete.
Man-made
exactly.
materials, yeah.
Grounding has to be on dirt, soil, grass. Like, it has to be on that. And the best way to do it, too, is, like, not having anything between your flesh and the earth. So, like, you would ground with, like, socks off. Or there's some people who ground, like, they sit down and they ground. Or they'll put their hands, like, not wearing, naked? No, like, legs to ground, like, or they'll just put their hands down. But my grounding that I was doing at the time was literally just going outside, just barefoot, standing out there and just breathing. And how you also ground is you're supposed to just kind of, like, clear your mind, which the best way they say to do that is, like, saying the 5 senses. So you close your eyes and you name something that you can hear at that moment. You name something that you feel. You name something that you taste, like all the other 5 senses.
Right.
You get the point. But and then you just sit there and breathe, and then you express gratitude. You might say a prayer, you might meditate, or you might just sit in complete silence. So I remember just like kind of like releasing all of my negative energy, trying to become one, focusing on breathing, and like making sure to express gratitude first, but also being intentional and saying what I wanted, like, or saying what I needed to hear myself say, like, I am a great mother. My reality, is what it is, like stuff like that. Or I'm ready to receive, not saying like I can't wait for something, saying like I'm ready to receive, so that the universe knows that I am ready for whatever I'm asking for. So basically it was just that. It was like just another form in my mind of meditation, of being able to like just like release. And I was doing it like when the kids were home. I would do it whenever they would go on the bus out in the cold, like even in the winter. Like if there was snow on the ground, like I would take my socks off, I would stand out there, and I would try to take my mind from, because when you do grounding properly, like you really don't feel cold. Right. Like you just kind of like are there.
Right. I will say, like, you had me do it a couple times, and it is like a different experience. And you know, I'm like, I would say like I'm like a spiritual person, but you know me. Yeah. I'm kind of like hesitant to alter. I'm like, all right, like, all right, like I get it, but like for real, but like that was one that like I feel like a lot of people, like especially adults, like name the last time you were outside barefoot. Exactly. Probably can't think of it since you were a kid. And it was a weird experience. Like I'm thinking about it now and I could feel it in my body. Like I could feel how it feels. And like no matter how you feel about like spirituality or whatever, like that is just that it's like a form of meditation. Like it's like, and this coming from me, somebody who my brain don't shut off. So like I'm not the type that could just sit there and be like and just think. Like my form of meditation will be like walking or like journaling, like, but I need like, I'm just not the type of person to like just sit there and be in my thoughts, because my thoughts don't stop. So that shit is not relaxing for me. So, but grounding, I felt like it honestly feels like the world is just like, and it just stops. And yeah, I mean, like just feeling like soil on your it just, I don't know, for me it like took me back to childhood, which is like, I don't know, I feel like that's such a beautiful thing. Like I feel like that's so beautiful. Like it just made me feel like a kid again, and I feel like that's your true self anyway. So that's my little spiel on it. But yeah, so do you feel like tapping into your spirituality led you to like forgiving yourself for all these like inaccurate thoughts you had about yourself, like I'm a bad mom, or I should have did this, I could have did this more, whatever? Absolutely.
I truly feel like if I wouldn't have tapped into like being more in tune with myself spiritually, that I don't know if I would be where I was today. Like, yes, I could have kept working out, and I'm not telling people that you have to ground or you got to do this. It was just really like understanding myself in a different way, and understanding the universe in a different way, and the world and how things are and stuff like that. I mean, it played a huge part. It played a huge part, and I mean, I'm gonna say the book regardless. The book that I had read, and again, I cannot remember why or how I came across this book. Probably like a podcast or something that I was watching or listening to or something, but
you was a podcast girl for a minute.
Yeah, it was called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And that is a book that I preach to people over and over and over again.
Yeah, I've read it.
And it's something that I still go back to. But that was really the book. And it's an easy read. You can read it in anywhere. It's the whole thing in 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes to an hour. Or you could take days. It just depends on you. But when I read that book, it opened my mind to a bunch of different things. I was like, wow. I never thought about life like this. Like, I never thought about this being this, or, you know, the law of cause and effect, or like, you know, pure potentiality, like stuff like that. So that is a book that I will speak over and over again, that really started me into my spiritual journey and really kind of opened my mind up to like pulling myself out of this depressional state that I was trying to sink back into. Right. But that's something like along the journey too. That's why I preach to people too. You know, like people will get down on themselves, like, well, I was in the gym and then I fell off, and then like that's gonna happen. But you have to learn how to pull yourself out of them dark places. Not saying that the dark places still don't happen, but it gets a little bit easier every time.
And for you, I feel like it's obvious that the gym is like, whereas some people, I feel like a lot of people, myself included, because you know I struggle with consistency in the gym, even though I love working out, like. But it's like, bless you.
Thank you.
It's like, I feel like getting to the gym be like a hill that's like, it sometimes when you're not in that space, it's impossible to climb. But for you, it's like you use the gym as a way to pull yourself out of that place, but other people might not, like, they fall out of the gym because they can't, like, that's not a motivator for them. But talk about how I know we went back to talk about, the kids' autism, the boys' autism diagnosis, and when you had Riley and all this other stuff. But let's jump back into, after that, like we're getting to summer now. So you said, you started having workouts outside and then you fell back into depression and you stopped posting a little bit. Another question I had for you, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. When you started out, did you always have the intention of like being a social media influencer, or were you just doing it just to do it?
I never had the intention of being a social media influencer. I was really doing it to do it.
Would you say that's your intention now?
I don't know if my intention is so much to be a social media influencer. Influencer, yes, but it doesn't have to be social media.
But it's like something that just happened as a side effect.
Exactly. Like, I would just say that, does it bring me joy to know, like, that I inspire and motivate people to, like, want to be better versions of themselves? Absolutely.
Right.
But I feel like whenever I started out, I don't know, I guess maybe I just wanted to be some form of, like, not a leader per se, but I did. Like, I just wanted to help people. I've always wanted to help people, even whenever I was younger. That's why I wanted to be an anesthesiologist or a doctor or a psychologist or something like that. I just enjoy helping people.
What's a sports... Why am I literally blanking like I didn't go to school? And one of my best friends is literally this. What Maria is? Athletic trainer.
Yes.
I'm all dumb.
Athletic trainer.
Right.
I really wanted to be an athletic trainer.
I remember. Yeah,
I really wanted to be an athletic trainer.
But what do you think? Why do you think is the reason like that brings you joy? Like, why do you think you like get joy from helping people, or why do you think like it brings you joy to think that you're influencing people to like be their best self?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I was trying to turn up on you.
I don't know. I just feel like that's my purpose. Like, you know how you just feel like something is your purpose? I just feel like I was put on this earth to kind of like be that person to help break generational curses.
Right.
Be that person to break the generational curses in my own family. Just be that person that kind of like helps people understand that no matter what society tries to put on you or your family or whatever, people, relationships, anything like that of your life or what you've been through does not mean that you can't beat the odds and still be a great person.
Right.
Just because of whatever happened in your past doesn't define your future. If anything, it helps mold who you're about to be in the future.
Right.
So, I don't know. I just think that I just like beating the odds.
Right.
I just like people feeling like you shouldn't be able to do something and being able to do it.
So you're like they say Steph Curry is like a basketball sicko. Like he just eats, lives, breathes this shit. Like he just loves the game so much. Like would you say you are like that with fitness? Like you're just a sicko. Like you are in a positive way. Like you're like the shit that motivates you is like, yeah, I want to get out of this dark place. Like, I need it.
I would absolutely say that. And you know why I think that is, and you know why I think the journey phase changed is because like whenever I first started out, yes, it was about postpartum depression, but then I was like, in my mind, I was telling myself it was about postpartum depression, but then I allowed that like physical aspect. Like I want my body to look like this, this, and this.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you finish and then I have a question.
Having that dark time and then coming out of it, I feel like what God was trying to realign me to was understanding the mental aspect of it. And I think that that's why the gym is a non-negotiable for me. Right. Because I don't use it. Yes, I want my body to look a certain type of way, but right. I use it I switched and understood the mental aspect, right. How it helps me mentally and how I'm not mentally okay. And I started using the gym for a mental aspect and not the physical aspect. Right. I feel like that's why people fall off, because they only think about it in the physical aspect and then they don't see results, instead of tapping into that mental aspect and understanding after a workout how good you feel about yourself, right. How the rest of your day goes, like, and then like tying in the physical aspect right. too of it.
So do you think that, because you know my Aquarius sister, they say that y'all Aquarians are who Leos like want to be. Like they, you know how Leos have this like, they be like, oh, Leos are self-centered, they're conceited, they think the world is all about them, and they say that like who Leos think they are in their mind, like Aquarius really is in real life. Like, y'all are the effortless cool girl. Y'all are the ones that, like, the world really is about you, whatever. But I feel like Aquarius sometimes can also feel like the world revolves around them.
Yes.
So do you think that you had an experience in ego death? Like, I feel like maybe there's two parts of it. So, like, your first one, like your first foray, whatever, into the gym. You know, it was about vanity. It was, I want to look good. I want bitches to be jealous of me, whatever. But, you know, maybe you went through the depression, and then the second time, like, maybe did the depression, like, make you experience an ego death in a way? Or did you, like, lose your vanity regarding the gym to, like, shift your mindset?
I would say a little bit, yeah. I definitely started tapping into understanding about, like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people struggle with this, but, like, I understood that Aquariuses don't know how to take constructive criticism well. So I learned to come out of that, because sometimes we'll feel like we're being attacked. And I tried to tap into understanding, like, you're not being attacked. Like, sometimes constructive criticism can be love, too. That doesn't mean that they're trying to come at you. Right. It just means that they're trying to help you. Most people. So, I mean, I would say, yeah, I felt like I got humbled a couple of times and understood that the ego had to go. Not that I was, like, super self-centered, but, I mean, who isn't a little self-centered about this?
Every Aquarius.
Who doesn't think that they're the
who
shit?
Who isn't self-centered?
Like, who doesn't think that they're a bad bitch or, like, the best at what they fucking, like, that they do? A little bit, just a little bit. But right. I would say in high school, like, I had a lot of ego. Like, I thought that
You've seen them senior pictures.
I thought I was the shit. I thought I looked like the shit. I thought in any sport that I played, I was the shit. Right. But, I mean, I was. But it's like, see, and that's... Let me stop. But I did. And I had to learn how to humble myself and understand, like, you can still be the best, but there's other bests, too.
Do you hold any resentment towards the old version of yourself? I'm killing you with these questions. This is just off the dome. This is off the dome. Like, I'm a conversationalist first.
You are. I do. But I've been trying to be more graceful with myself. I hold resentment in the aspect of, like, decisions that I've made, choices I've made in all aspects of my life. Right. What life would be like if I didn't make certain decisions or move certain ways or do certain things, or if I would have done more in certain areas. I hold a lot. What would life would have been if I would have went to this college instead of this one, or if I would have, you know, listened to my dad a little bit more with practicing outside. And so I mean, yeah, I think that I do, but I've learned to give myself grace and understand that no matter what, my life is my life, and it was always written to be this way in life. So there's really no time to spend the energy of, like, dwelling on the past and what if. And even though, I mean, sometimes I still do it and be like, dang, like, I can only imagine, but my life is what it is because it was supposed to be this way. So I just I've learned to roll with the punches and just kind of, like, understand the saying, everything is happening for me, not to me. Right. And just kind of moving with that.
Right. So what, about, like, do you have any resentment with working out workout Kayla specifically, that, like before your, you know, realignment, like you said, where your mindset shifted, do you have any resentment towards the old workout Kayla that you, like, are still working to forgive yourself for or come to terms with? It's okay if the answer is no. I'm just curious.
I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't feel like the old workout Kayla. I don't know, because the old workout Kayla didn't know that it was going to ever be this. Right. The old workout Kayla was strictly just doing stuff off of a whim and
trying to help people.
Trying to help people, and then also kind of too, like, just people telling me, like, I think this is what you should do. Like, you're great at this. This, that, the third. So I wouldn't say that I have any resentment towards the old workout Kayla, and I probably wouldn't change anything because everything brought me to exactly where I am today.
Right. And I will say, like, we were talking about how, like, you get aligned with certain stuff. Like, I think that, like, that alignment comes in the form of many different things, whether it is, like, the strike of God, where you're like, I don't know why I'm even doing this, but I'm just doing it. It's like, you know, I'm just somebody else is controlling this body and I'm just moving along. Or if it, like, takes the form of other people, like, God might have placed somebody in your life that, like those people that said those things to you, like when you needed that encouragement or just to divert your thinking, because everything, I feel like everything that moves you into your purpose, it all comes in like code. It all comes in like these like weird, like vague, like actions that happen. Like you're not just gonna, I mean, some people might. In my experience though, like I don't just get strikes from the ceiling or from the sky that just say you need to make this. Like, you know, it's just like somebody's like, oh, you're hard, you need to do A, B, and C, and I was like, maybe I am a little hard, maybe I am tough. And I do that. So let's jump back into where we interrupted your journey. So you came out of this depression. Your mindset was realigned, and then what after that?
So then, like I said, I started going to, if my time period is correct, I started going to the gym somehow, some way. Still don't know where Riley Rain was at. She had to have been taken care of. So fast. I was making it to the gym in the morning. God, where was my child? And I was going, though, for me. At that aspect, I wasn't like, I was going for me. I was trying to record myself and posting stuff on social media. So, like, do these workouts, like a day in the life type of stuff. Right. And then I had a couple friends who were like, oh, what time do you go? Like, I'm going to meet you there. So then, like, I mean, obviously, you were, like, one of them. But then I had, like, a couple other people.
We're friends.
Oh, my gosh. We would meet up at Planet Fitness. And I would structure these workouts again. And y'all would just do whatever workout I was doing that day. Right. Did that for a while. And then the boxing gym had reached back out to me. And was like, hey, look, like, you could train here. You could train here. And maybe eventually, like, we could start running classes again here type stuff. So I was like, okay. So I started branching out, telling people that I was accepting clients, which was a huge step for me because I had never, like, trained anybody one-on-one per se. Right. So I had a couple of people inquire about that. And it was going well. I had about, at the time, whenever I was training at the boxing gym, I think I was only doing small group training. I don't really think I had many one-on-ones. But I had, at a point in time, I had about 10 to 12 clients. In these 3 to 4 small group people. And that was going really well. And then I did a couple classes there for a little while. And then fast forward, and then the boxing gym had shut down. They weren't operating out of that space anymore, and then they were moving on to somewhere else. So at that point, I had re-separated again and went back into Planet Fitness again. And again, I started training out of my house. I was doing training sessions out of my house. I would meet some people at Planet Fitness, but we know how Planet Fitness be. Like, you're not really allowed to train people there, per se.
You were just meeting them for a workout.
Yeah, we were just meeting for workouts. But I started to transition my garage into a gym so that I could train people out of my garage. But I was still making a point to work out at Planet Fitness for myself too.
Right. I was just gonna say that reminds me of ISSA Rae, the one interview she did. It was the same interview she did about networking across versus networking up. But specifically to this, like you said, you transformed your garage into a gym, and I'm not calling nobody broke. But this is what she said in the interview. She said there's so much creativity in brokenness. And compared to celebrities, we're basically broke compared to them. Like, they're millionaires. So, but yeah, I'm not saying like brokenness, but I'm just saying like, yeah, like when you don't have resources that you feel like, yeah, it would be great if we were born into a fucking $1 billion family and we were Nepo babies, and then dad would just throw you a $2 million loan grant. Literally. And, you know, you can just open up your own gym. Like, that would be beautiful, but that's not the cards that we were dealt. So I feel like whenever, you know, you really have to get it out the mud, like, not to be like, I really got it out the mud, but like when you have to really build yourself up and pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, like, you make do with whatever you have. And I think that was a good example of it because, yeah, like, it just really shows, like, there's no excuse. Like, you will find a way. If there's no way, you make a way. Like, so, do you feel like you've ever, like, for lack of a better term, like yelled at your body to go more? Like, I want to go more, but like you were like mad at yourself for not being able to go harder than you were going?
Yes. And I feel like that's happened more recently than, I mean, I'm sure it's happened in the past, but I feel like I can see it more recently because that's literally happened at the gym recently, where I was like, oh my gosh, like I've lifted this weight before, I've done this, I've done that before, like why can I not? And then just not understanding, like you might not have fueled your body properly this day, or understanding like you move your body a lot, like a lot more now than what you used to, so like every day is not going to be perfect, but it's still like that mental beat up of like, dag, like the defeated aspect almost.
Right. Do you think that that kind of hurts? Like that's like an ego thing you're working through too, like wanting your body to put, like you expect yourself to go harder, and then you have to learn, like you have to be forgiving of your body. You have to like take into account, like you said, the fatigue and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, yeah.
Do you feel like you have had to, or I guess I should say, like, do you feel like you've evolved to learn to listen to your body, and how have you over time learned to not beat yourself up and instead to, look back at your body and be like, like our bodies do a lot for us. Like your body keeps you alive every day without you even thinking about it. So like, did you have to learn how to, I mean, hate to keep using the word forgive, but forgive your body for not being able to go as hard as you wanted it to go, for basically, like, do you feel like your body has disappointed you? Like, do you feel like you've had to learn how to forgive your body for not, like, meeting the expectations that your mind set for it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say, yeah, but it's that aspect of understanding, like, you're human.
Right.
Like, you're not a superhero.
Right.
Like, you are still human. It is okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be tired, which I still am working through, beating myself up, because I be feeling like I do so much in a day that sometimes, like, if I, like, yesterday, for instance, like, I felt like I slept most of the day.
Right.
And I'm, like, battling this, beating myself up, because I'm like, dag, like, that was, like, a waste of a day. But it's like, no, like, that was much needed rest that I don't ever get. I don't ever get to sleep that much.
Right.
And so my body was probably, and I mean, I'm trying to lean into this thought process too of like divinity also. Like, I don't know what this week aligns, so it could be some foreshadowing stuff, like maybe
you need the
God
rest.
Felt like I needed that day to really rest to even be able to do everything that I need to accomplish this week, because this week it has a lot more workload than last week did.
Right.
So, and the weeks are only continuing to be like that. So yes, like I'm like, dag, like I could have did this, I could have did that. And that also is a mom thing too, because I be feeling like whenever I like don't have my kids, like I try to do as much as I can because I don't have them. Because there's like times whenever I do have them that I feel like I can't do certain things or as much, especially without falling into that mom guilt of like not giving them proper time and attention.
Right.
And, like doing whatever I need to do or just chilling with them.
Right.
Like, so I would say that it's something that I'm still actively learning how to forgive myself on.
Right.
But I'm trying to talk to myself more and be more open-minded.
Right. Yeah, that's, and I was just telling you earlier how, like, my therapist said to me one time, like, because I was complaining about the same thing. I was like, I really struggle with times where I'm not productive. Like, I beat myself up a lot with that. Like, I feel like, oh, I have so much to do. I could have been doing this. I could have been working on art, or I could have been working on this or whatever. And I don't. And they said to me, why do you give so much value to productivity? Why don't you give that same value to rest? Because you need it equally as much. Arguably, you need it more. So that's something I had to like really learn. But I feel like with the gym, like specifically the gym, like people always say like you can't hate yourself into a new body, but talking to yourself bad and like self-hatred is so prevalent in gym culture, even among people who are the most I would argue that people who are the most in shape like be the hardest on themselves, and they because they have these unrealistic expectations. So how do you manage how do you prevent yourself from falling into that? Like, you don't want to be in that space where you are hating your body, saying I'm so fat, whatever, because I fall into that. I say that all the time. People be like, you're not fat, but like obviously everybody, like I feel like body dysmorphia is common among all body types, just because our society just values an unattainable beauty standard in all areas. So how do you deal with that in the gym?
I feel that it's just that constant reminder of trusting the process. So I don't do this enough for myself, but I do it more for clients, and I see the joy that it brings them. But that's why I preach like taking pictures so much, because like, and it's in the aspect of like, you see yourself every day. Right. So like, you're super hard on yourself because you think that these changes aren't happening. But if you take pictures and you really compare whether you take them every month or every 2 months, and you truly compare and see the changes, like that is what I feel like is one of the biggest things that can help people do like that forgiveness. Like, wow, like I am really changing. But then also like not even on a physical aspect, on a mental aspect, because then say you take a picture now and then you take a picture from a month from now and there's so much stuff that has happened and you're like, oh my goodness, like where I was mentally there compared to where I am mentally now, like I can like forgive myself for that too, because like I've come such a long way. Right. And, so, I mean, to me, it's just like that constant reminder of trusting the process. But a lot of the times I feel like I find it talking to other people, because it's easier to like tell other people stuff. But sometimes the stuff that we tell other people is what we need to hear ourselves. Right. And it's hard to tell yourself that. But like when you're telling someone else it and you're like, I really needed to hear that for myself. But sometimes you have those people though who will say that stuff to you and you're like, wow, like that's something that I really like needed to hear. Right. I feel like you do speak life into other people the way that you need it in yourself, and maybe that's like your body's or your mind's like way of like showing yourself love, because like somebody like me, like I'm really hard on myself all the time and everything I do, like nothing is ever good enough, but when it comes to my friends and people I care about, like when I talk to them, I be talking to them like they are the best in the world at whatever. And it's like, you know, I feel like we don't talk to ourselves like that enough. And, you know, that's a really good point. Like, I do agree. I think that, you know, a lot of times when you talk to other people, like the things you say to them is really what you want to say to yourself. But it's like something that kind of has helped me is thinking about the inner child, like inner me. Like, think about how you're talking to yourself. Like, okay, you talk to yourself a certain way, whatever. Now, imagine you talking to, like, imagine, like, a baby picture of you. Or, like, a kid picture of you, like, when you was, like, young. And talk to them that same way. Like, are you going to say that same thing to you as a kid? No. So, I try to work on that to fix it. But what I wanted to talk about, too, was, so, fast forward to now, you went from basically being, you know, and I don't mean this as any slight, but you went from being like an at-home workout person to like ISSA certified personal trainer with clients and, you know, education behind you. So what was your educational background and how you got to here? So I graduated high school. I went to college for athletic training. I got out of athletic training because I was, in my mind, lazy with the aspect of I didn't want to be in college for 6 years, because I had entered the program so late that they were like, well, you'll probably be here for 5 or 6 years. So I switched my major freshman year to pharmacy because I thought I wanted to be a
like
pharmacist.
That would be any shorter.
Like, I thought I wanted to be a pharmacist, but it was in the aspect of like I was good at math. I enjoyed math. I liked science. Right. But also too, in that time frame, like I was thinking about the money. Like, absolutely. Oh, I will make bank if I'm a pharmacist. And then I was like, that's not really a bad job. So I enjoyed that, but then like I switched my major from that because I hated labs. Like, I'm sure. Labs were like 2 hours long, and I was like, yeah, I don't got this in me. On top of like softball. Like, yeah. Talk about that too. Well, we'll get to that. So then I switched it to psychology. Because I really just want these majors that are so like medicine driven. Like maybe that's on point for you though, because it's like I have a statement about that. So I had switched it to psychology. because I really enjoyed like the mind, and I was thinking about like I was like maybe I'll be a guidance counselor, and then I was like
that would fit you.
It would because I enjoy talking to people and I enjoy talking about people's lives, especially the youth.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people confide in you too, not even just like people you train, like
literally
just people in life. I feel like that really is your calling, like, and that makes so much sense why people feel like. And I'm not just saying this because I'm your sister and I'm like trying to hype you up, but for real, like I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards you and having you and coming on as your client because they value the mental like support you provide them. You know, so
I was thinking either being a guidance counselor or even a therapist. I was thinking psychologist, but then I was like, that's a little bit different. So maybe I could be a therapist. Which I really enjoyed psychology. But what turned me off of psychology was one psychology teacher because I had...
I think I remember this.
I had softball. So softball in college...
Oh, I do remember this.
Softball in college, we had 6 a.m. workouts every so often.
Yep.
But then we also had games. So, like, you know how college is, like, sometimes you have night classes. Not night classes, I'm sorry. Some classes, they will grade you based off of attendance. Like, you have to be there. And then some classes really don't give a fuck at all if you're there or not. Right. So this one specific class, like, it was an 8 a.m. And I had to be there. But I wasn't really showing up as much as I should have. My attendance wasn't the greatest.
No, we would have 6 a.m. Because I remember my 8 a.m. was astronomy. And... I thought it was going to be cool. Like, I thought it was going to be, like, astrology. And no, she was talking about moon time. I said, moon time? What the fuck are we talking about? And we had half of our course was in the planetarium. I had it as an 8 a.m. After a 6 a.m. workout, we would go to practice, go to Commons to eat breakfast. I would have the itis. Like, I would go to that and I would be
literally, and a lot of the times whenever we had 6 a.m. practices, we might have had a game the night before and not getting home until like 11.
And softball, I will argue that softball has the worst, and baseball have the worst end of the stick because, especially if you play in the north, because the weather is so bad, your season is so short, and because of the weather, you have cancellations. And before the weather even cancels shit, you literally, they like set you up for failure. You have like 4 games in a week, or you'll have like, and they're all double headers.
That's what I was
like, they're all double headed. You play 8 games in 4 days. Like, literally. That shit is crazy.
And that's what I'm saying. So I wasn't, but I was still doing my work. I was still doing tests. I just wasn't showing up all the time. So she felt the need to email my coach.
Loser.
And my coach felt the need to not bring it up to me, but bring it up to the seniors about my attendance.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Which I felt like was a HIPAA violation.
Definitely.
So long story short, I got turned off of that major because of that one teacher. Like, and I was one of those people who back then, like, it's not that I was avoiding, but it was just like, if you did some weird shit, fuck it. I don't even want to do this no more.
Right.
So then I switched that to sports management because I was like, this is easy. This is around my type of field. Like, I loved it. Like, I remember taking class where we had to like structure like what it would be like if we held like a gym class.
Yeah.
And doing that. And
I love that. People talk shit. I love sport management.
Literally.
That was my major too, for reference.
I just felt like, and it was I was like, dang, if I would have did this, I would have been graduated. Yeah, like, because I didn't switch it until I think like my junior year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think I was telling you, like, girl, you should just do sport management. That's what I'm doing.
But then I got pregnant. My senior year, my oldest son.
I remember when you told me too, we were literally walking to CVS.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, so like, I'm like pregnant. I said, what? I said, no, you're not.
I got pregnant with my oldest spring of my senior year. Now, granted, I still would have had 1 more year to finish college. Like, I was on the track to finish, but I needed to at least come back, I think, that fall and spring of the following year that I had gotten pregnant to graduate. So, in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna just switch to online and do online. I tried online for a little while. Failed.
And on top of that, for reference, this is before COVID.
Yeah. So
universities were not as equipped to handle online, and especially our major was really small, and we did not have like online classes like that. Pre-COVID, that shit was like really like you had some online classes, but it was not.
And I think like I was doing well until I had a child.
Right.
Then I had the child, and that's really whenever I failed because I was like, it was hard.
Right.
So I was like, forget school. Like, I'm not gonna do it. Had one, had the other, had another, And at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to go back online. But
you switched schools at that point.
I did. I switched to Cal U online.
Right.
It was not. And I don't know why I was thinking in my mind before going online with Cal U. I was like, I could drive up there for real. Like, it's not that far. I could take classes in person, which I do think I would have thrived better taking classes in person than online.
But it's also, like, different because it's like you were being taught sport management in a whole different program. And the way that Cal U might teach sport management is probably different from the way Clarion would. So it's not, it's not always the same. Maybe you don't love that major at Cal U,
Maybe not. So I just was kind of like, once I failed it again, I was like, man, I'm not going back to school. Like, this is for the birds. But then, then I got into, the fitness. Well, I did childcare, which I really only started in childcare because...
you had a child.
I was pregnant with my oldest, and I was like, I need to know how to raise a child.
Facts, because you never, ever worked in childcare before. No. We would babysit a little bit in high school, but you wasn't no childcare
I was looking, worker. At the time, I was 6 months pregnant with G, and I was looking for a job that would hire me.
Right.
And I had a friend that we went to high school with who was like, my job's hiring, and, they don't care if you're pregnant or not. So I did. I went to childcare, and I actually got a little bit more certified in childcare. I got my CN... I don't think it's not.
No, CNA is like a nurse's assistant.
Yeah, it's something that CDA. Sorry, it's a CDA, which
like
makes
certified daycare assistant or something like that.
Something like that. It just makes you a little bit more certified so that you could just be more knowledgeable. But
Take
that
care
was
of
like
lives.
Schooling,
right,
in that field. So I did get my CDA, and then whenever I got out of childcare and I tapped into the fitness world. I was doing research and I was going back and forth with, do I need to be educated? Do I not? And I did a lot of research, and you don't technically there's nothing in writing that says that you have to have a certification or anything to be able to train people. So I was going with that for a while, but then I was like, well, I need to be more knowledgeable. And it's going to look better on paper for if this is what I want to do, if anywhere tries to hire me or give me money to open up my own gym or anything like that, I need to be certified. So I remember summer of 2022, 2023, something around there.
I don't know if it was 23. I think maybe 20. It had to be 23. It had to.
I told you I think I'm gonna do it, and you were the only person that I told, and it took from July of 2023 to December of 2023 for me, and I passed my certification, and here we are.
Yeah. Do you think that was important? Well, let me go back real quick. So, do you did you have a lot of regret with school? Did you have a negative relationship with schooling in general after college because of how things played out for you?
Yeah. Yes and no. It's I felt like it was valuable and it led me to where I needed to be, but it was also kind of was this wasted time? Because
right. You feel like you held resentment towards it? Bless you.
Thank you. I don't know. I really don't think so, just because of the impact that I had made up there, connections I had made people wise, playing the sport,
right.
Other type of knowledgeable things that I had learned. So right. I don't think so, but also too, I was a little upset because I just felt like they didn't help me enough.
Right.
People I forget what they're called, advisors, stuff like that. They weren't helpful enough. And then I remember having an advisor that wanted me to meet them every Tuesday, and I'm like, I have kids.
Right.
How am I gonna hop on this Zoom call every Tuesday at 2 to talk to you for an hour? It's just unrealistic.
And then them people will be the same ones who will be like, well, you have to want it for yourself. But it's that doesn't apply to real world situations. People don't take people's mental health into account. They don't take real life situations into account. You're raising these children. They don't know what type of support you have. We have a great support system in our family, but you could have had nothing.
Literally.
You could have been doing shit by yourself, had to source your own day, everything. And I think people we in America, I feel like we have a very toxic pull yourself up by your own bootstraps mentality. And somebody put it best. They said everybody in America sees themselves as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. And I feel like that just bleeds into our society so much. And countries like Japan get a bad rep for having this workaholic culture, but America has a very toxic hustler, get it or you're a piece of shit culture. So I feel like that just bleeds into every like aspect of society. Like it bleeds into academic. It's just people's mentality towards like getting to where you want to be in life. It's not very like a very helpful mentality. I feel like it's a very, I'll do what I can for you, but you gotta want it. It's like a grind harder mentality. It's actually really toxic. But so do you think that getting the certification was like imperative for you in your like training journey?
I don't know.
You gotta
yes
be honest.
And no.
Just be honest.
I would say yes and no. Yes, in the aspect of I feel like it made people like take me more seriously.
Right.
But also, and I mean, it educated me a little bit more.
Right.
But no, because it's like, I mean, society makes you feel like you have to have this, that, and the third.
Right.
It's all a money gap, when you really don't. If you educate yourself properly, read books,
Right.
like do the proper, and a lot of it is like hands-on stuff.
Right.
Like stuff that you just have to understand and learn how to do.
Right.
That I could have did without being certified. But
Right.
I think I needed it, especially for understanding like the time period that I had and my environment and my reality.
Right.
There wasn't really much time to like go and educate myself or sit down and read a book or
Right.
be like, I'm gonna pop up at this gym and, you know, like tap in with this person and understand and help them guide me and teach me. Like
Right.
it made more sense at the time for me to get my certification.
Right. And I feel like people don't understand like access to education is a large portion too. It's like I feel like education is kind of like it's a way for them to now I'm of the opinion that education should be free and accessible to everybody who desires it. I think education is a great thing, but I also think it's really like elitist, and I feel like it's kind of exclusionary too, because like when you have these certifications and stuff, which are great because, you know, at the end of the day, like I feel like education is like good and like necessary to have a baseline so that people are safe, especially in a industry like yours where people are literally like moving their bodies. But I feel like if that's like the case, if that's the opinion of the people, is like, yeah, like people need to be certified for safety, it should be free then. Mm-hmm. But once again, our society, our country that we have, they don't prioritize, like, I feel like a lot of people don't think that education should be free and accessible, and I just don't agree with that. But, you know, I feel like having the cost barrier to it, I feel like we just don't set people up to succeed, mm-hmm. And get the education and the certifications they need, because it's not just a money barrier, it is too, like, access. Like you're a mom of two, or at this point, you're a mom of three. At this point, you're a mom of three. And, you know, like, people just don't... I feel like there's not a lot of resources for people to succeed. Mm-hmm. But yeah, did your mindset towards education change at all when you did make the decision to get certified? Because I feel like for a while, you kind of were going back and forth about getting certified. Like, oh, do I really need it or do I want it?
I feel like it's still the same.
Really?
I feel like it's still the same. If somebody wants to get certified, go and do it. But
right.
If you take it serious and are really gonna like educate yourself the right way, like invest in the proper books and
right.
studying that you need to do yourself and understanding the body and stuff, no.
Right.
Don't go get it. You
right.
don't need it.
Right.
You don't need it. There's nothing that says, especially in the state of Pennsylvania, that says that you have to be a certified trainer to
right.
be training people. But I also don't want to give that and make people think that just average Joe down the street, just because they read one book, that they can be
right.
your trainer.
Right.
So it's just, I feel like whenever it comes to people choosing who they want as a trainer, mm-hmm. you have to just pay attention to them. Understand why they're doing it, because some people just do it for the money.
Right.
Tap into that. Tap into understanding and seeing like if they are knowledgeable in what they're talking about. See if they do pride themselves on proper form, technique, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to look and see if they're a certified personal trainer just to dive into them being your trainer.
Right. Now, do you feel like you went through any period of time where you beat yourself up for not like finishing traditional college?
I feel like there's a lot times whenever I used to, because it's like that aspect of like feeling like a failure, quote unquote, or like when you're talking to somebody and you know, like just the perception of other people, like it could be somebody that doesn't know me and they'd be like, oh, you went to blah blah blah, what year did you graduate, or did you graduate? And it's like, no, I didn't. And then it falls into that stereotypical, well, why didn't you graduate? Because I got pregnant. Right. I got pregnant and didn't finish, so it puts me in that category of like stereotype. Exactly.
Like, so did you feel like embarrassment for that for a while? Did you feel... I did. Really?
And also too, like, I mean, from my own parents. Not that they ever said that, but I mean, it just kind of is like...
Yeah, I mean, I think that like you can... Our parents are very like... We know we fuck with our parents. And we have better...
I think it's past the parent aspect. I think it's just the thought process of getting out of the idea of people perceiving you as a failure. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I had to tap into and understand. Well, fuck it. If people think I'm a failure, then they think I'm a fucking failure.
Right. What helped you get there though? Like, how did you get to that point where you kind of forgave yourself for not finishing college and kind of forging your own path? Because in our household, like, we grew up in a 2-parent household, and the expectations were that of almost every like middle class American family: school, degree, job. So because you're the oldest too, so you know, how did you kind of forgive yourself for not following that same path and kind of in a way like defying your parents, even though like whatever path you choose is good and it's fine and it's valid, but you know, at that time I feel like, you know, our parents had a very straightforward, this is what you're supposed to do, and to a lot of people it could feel like you're defying them.
I think that the best way that I could say it is, like I said, like feeling like that black sheep and feeling like breaking generational curses and feeling like I was supposed to be one of the people who helped defy the odds and shown, well, like I'm a prove to whoever, not just saying my parents in general, but just in general, like I'm a prove that I can still do this and I will still do this even without an education. And not saying that, you know, trying to discourage people from going to college or furthering their education, but that is not everything. Right. And your purpose in life, I think I just started trying to dive into more of like my purpose and understanding what my purpose is and my calling. And that kind of helped me forgive myself, because it was like, well, it's just not what I was supposed to do. And even though I didn't finish, like you said, like it's kind of, I had what I call epiphany that, I don't know, one night, I mean, I'm going to just be real and raw. One night I was high. I used to have a lot of epiphanies whenever I would smoke.
Let's be clear.
Weed. I don't smoke anymore. Like if I do, it's really on like social occasions.
Right, but I just wanted to say weed, and so people don't think it's like some crazy shit.
There was a point in time whenever I was smoking weed a lot to kind of like what I was telling myself, help myself stay like calm and sane. But I would have a lot of epiphanies whenever I would smoke. It was like my mind was like, so I remember one night smoking, and I think I was on FaceTime with like our cousin Jasmine or something. And I remember like, it felt like God was saying to me, like, everything you do in life leads you to exactly where you're supposed to be. Right. And that was like the biggest, like, oh my gosh. Because then I started thinking about college, and I thought about the aspect of all the majors that I chose: athletic trainer, pharmacist, psychology, sports management. Right. Now, y'all might think like, well, what do you do pharmaceutical wise? Right. There was a point in time whenever I was first really actively in my journey where I was really on the herbal aspect.
You was on your Dr. Sebi shit.
What can heal your body in anything from arthritis to cholesterol to, you know, high blood pressure to this, diabetes. Diseases. Literally everything. I was finding the natural way to do it, because I was thinking like, well, bump the man-made medication. Like God put these certain herbs, fruits, veggies, all of this stuff on earth for a reason, and there has to be some type of healing power. So I was like trying to do like I was making shakes.
Right.
And at first I was making shakes just to like put in my body, but then I started making shakes to like heal certain things and was testing those out. And then I was even making like little concoctions when people would be sick, like where I was boiling certain herbs and stuff on the stove and making like stuff in mason jars. So like I say that to that. And then like you said, like people like confide in me, like I enjoy listening to people. And then the athletic trainer aspect, like I really enjoy like figuring out like how to rehab certain injuries and, you know, like, if I could realign your hips, I would love to realign your hips. Like, stuff like that. And then, like, the sports management aspect, like, just being around sports. But it was really, like, a whoa. Like, I didn't even intentionally do that. But to see, like, how, where I am now and all the walks of life that I took and how all of those kind of, like, I still do that even without, like, an education, that was really, like, whoa.
Right. It all came together to kind of, like, make up who you are. So yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say next. What did we
I don't
bring that up for?
I don't remember.
I think I was just talking about how, like, you forgave yourself for, like, not finishing college. Yeah. So, another thing I wanted to ask about was, like, your softball journey. So, you know, obviously we grew up playing softball together and, you know, we went to college together. We played softball there. But your softball journey, we ain't going to talk about mine, but your softball journey didn't end in the traditional way of the senior day with the jersey and the family picture and, you know, so, what was the end of your softball journey like, and what feelings do you still harbor towards softball? And also, do you have any regrets about how? I really hate to say regrets because I don't really believe in regrets. I kind of just believe in realignment. And also, I'm also a person who believes that, like, your life is written no matter what. It might be some crazy ass twists and turns, but it's only crazy to you because you don't know your life script yet until it happens to you. But I think your life happens exactly how it's supposed to. But do you have any, like, did you fight anything for a while? Because me with softball, I had a lot of, like, guilt, shame surrounding softball that I had to learn to, like, forgive myself for. So just talk about your softball journey. You don't have to talk about the whole thing. You just talk about college and, like, how it ended and your thoughts and feelings around it, and if you wish it would have ended differently.
So I went to Clarion my freshman year. I played there. I started. I was first starting in center field. And I had a couple upperclassmen that didn't like that I was a freshman that was starting, so they talked to the coach. And
that was some weak shit. I don't care, and I don't care who sees this. Y'all bitches is weak as hell for that.
Yeah, but that's how politics work.
Right.
And so I went from...
Pause. Do you know how much of a loser you have to be mad about playing time? You complain to the coach that somebody's starting over you. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to be talking shit this year. That was one of my... I don't even talk shit, but I just have to say that's super lame. Loser activity.
I went from starting in center field to being bumped over to left field.
Right.
Because the person felt like they needed to be a center field starter.
How about just be better?
Literally.
How about just be harder?
I dealt with that for a while. I experienced an injury my freshman year where I dislocated my shoulder mid-game. Whatever. Was cool with it. I kept starting all of my years. Fast forward to my junior year. We had a new coach, and she was cool for the most part.
Who?
For the most part to start.
Oh,
she was
cool. Because I'm like, we can't be thinking about the
she
same
was
person.
cool.
Right.
But then she just started to show weird things, and like I said, with the whole psychology teacher thing, like something had popped up in school where my teacher had emailed her about me not showing up to classes and stuff, and instead of pulling me in and talking to me like, why are you not going to class, why this, why that, she felt the need to tell the upperclassmen who were seniors that I wasn't coming to class, my grade.
Yeah, that's literally not okay.
That I was, I guess, failing the class basically off of attendance, what I was doing, what I wasn't doing, and they confronted me about it. And to me, that was the biggest HIPAA violation ever. You should never be discussing my stance in a class, especially with other members of the team, and especially before talking to me. But that's a huge HIPAA violation.
Is it HIPAA, or is there something else?
No, I think it's HIPAA.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
You cannot do that. You cannot discuss other people, like, you just can't do that.
Right.
So it's a little bit of avoidant behavior. So instead of like sticking around and saying it, whenever I feel like I'm doing wrong, I'm done. I'm done.
You
So
got a little Scorpio in your chart. That's why.
I do. I send an email basically resigning, and I stop coming.
Resigning. Resigning from a team is
resigned
so
from a
crazy.
team, and it was on some fuck you. You could find a new center fielder. You could find a new like first up in the batting order. You could do this, do that, and I did resent because I loved softball. Like I loved softball, so. But I enjoyed
that's my little Shayla.
I enjoyed having free time to myself, like more time to myself. But it was definitely like a huge like a whoa. This is a little bit different because I don't know what it's like to not play a sport.
Right.
And in that aspect, I'm a naturally petite person. I was losing weight. And I had went from around like 115, 117 to all the way down to like 108.
So you think that was like a little depression too?
I think it was a little bit of depression, but I also learned that when I don't move my body because I am naturally petite, I lose muscle.
Yeah.
And I lose gains. So then, I mean, I was not happy with how clothes were fitting. Like, yeah, I mean, it might sound wild to people. People are like, I wish I'd fit in a zero. No, that's not fun.
But that's
like,
why I say that like body dysmorphia affects everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, we're all body positive here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the narrative that just because a person is naturally skinnier, they don't like face.
Sorry,
you know,
I'm a little under the weather.
It's okay. I have a headache right now still, but I feel like there's a narrative that people, because like being skinny is the beauty standard, that's just a fact. Like everybody knows that being skinny is the beauty standard that's pushed by everybody, media and otherwise. I feel like people think that like people who are naturally skinny don't struggle, and I think that it's a struggle that's just as valid as people who are naturally bigger. Like it's we're all fucked up about this beauty standard, and I feel like we need to stop hating each other for it. Like it's so I think that that's valid too. Like, and like you just face a different viewpoint of it. Like people will be like, oh well, you know, I wish I would be that small and blah blah blah, and it kind of like almost like negates your experience, like invalidates your experience and your feelings, and that's not cool. So
I don't know though, looking back now, if I ever really properly processed that. I think that I turned to weed and alcohol because I was smoking a lot after, which then I wasn't really I started saying fuck it with class too because I was smoking so much. I was trying to smoke all day if I could. And my grades were dropping, but I knew how to finesse. Like, okay, if I'm on academic probation this semester, I'm gonna just do enough to get off of academic probation the following semester. And I did that for about a year because I didn't get pregnant until the spring of my senior year.
Right.
Because I would have came back and been a super senior.
Right.
But so I don't know. I still don't know if I ever really like properly processed that because I just feel like I use certain things to help cope with it. And then like after that I got pregnant, and then like it was a different part of life. And I think I do, like there was a time last year where I was really craving softball. Like I needed to like bat. I wanted to catch fly balls. I wanted to and I did. I went to the batting cages and I loved every aspect of it. And then I was really trying to look like, dag, I need a glove. Like I just want someone to hit a couple fly balls to me. Like
I love softball. I really do. Like that really is my Shayla. Like softball, people be whatever. Like, and don't get it twisted because baseball is boring.
Baseball is boring.
Baseball boring as fuck. Softball's not boring, and anybody who's watched like the college softball World Series, like women's college softball World Series, like it's on ESPN every year in June. I still tune into it because it's such a good game. Like I love softball. Like I love it. Like I really love it. That's really my Shayla. Softball is so fun, and that's probably why I play kickball now because it's like similar. But I think anybody who doesn't have their like, and this goes for any sport. I feel like anybody who has their like, if your athletic career didn't end in the ride off into the sunset that is senior night and blah 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 blah, like you kind of have a kind of
empty void.
Yeah, and you kind of have like a troubled relationship with it. Like I dealt with a lot of regret. So I don't know, and I don't know that I really worked through the end of my softball career either. So back on the topic of forgiveness, what do you feel is the hardest thing you've had to forgive yourself for?
Mm. I don't know. One thing, it's not an on camera conversation, but the other, I would say, mom guilt would probably be up there as like top 3. Figuring out how to forgive myself of how I handled raising my children in certain circumstances and situations, and kind of like where I'm at and where they're at in life now, in all aspects of life, physical, mental, emotional, all of that. So I feel like that would probably be the biggest thing that I had to learn how to forgive myself for. And it's something that I'm still actively learning how to forgive myself for. But I'm trying to give myself more grace, but I'm also trying to be present and communicate to them. And though I know I can't go back and change anything, just trying to like explain things, you know, like be more apologetic but open and help them understand, whether they understand what I'm saying or not. But yeah, I would say that that's probably one of the biggest things.
Mom guilt. What do you think, is it still spirituality that you feel is the biggest thing that has helped you kind of forgive yourself for that?
You said, do I feel like spirituality is, or what in spirituality?
No, do you feel like spirituality is, or if it's something else? Or you could say that too, like what in spirituality.
I feel like spirituality is one of the biggest things. I would say working out is too, but working out only is in the aspect of it helped clear my mind.
Yeah.
Especially like the cardio aspect of working out. Like the lifting aspect was more like anger and aggression. The cardio aspect is more like clarity.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big proponent of walks.
Yeah.
I be knowing that like I need a walk in my day, and a lot of days I don't feel like taking that walk, but I know that I need it some days to clear my mind.
And what I was doing was, especially this past year, 2024, was I've tried reading on the treadmill a couple of times, which helped, but I was listening to podcasts on the treadmill.
Right.
And that was a huge, huge thing for me, instead of like just doing the typical, like I'm gonna just scroll on social media.
Right.
So I feel like that held a major component, because I was able to find a lot of like clarity in these walks.
What do you feel like is the hardest thing you had to forgive someone else for? This could be anybody.
I would have to say...
And have you forgiven them?
I would have to say... I'm trying to think of a proper word past hurt. We'll just roll with hurt for now. That's such a generic, basic answer. But there's another word that I'm looking for that kind of almost falls in the line of like... Dag, I don't even know. So I'm going to just roll with hurt.
Right.
I'm going to just roll with hurt. That's not the word that I'm looking for. It's something a little bit deeper than that. But I would say that, and especially thinking that, and that's in a lot of type of relationships, platonic, romantic, all of that. Friendships, like, yeah. So I would say that's probably like the biggest thing.
Being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think that forgiveness has a time limit, physical or otherwise? Like, do you think it has a, a year, 2 years, whatever? And also, do you think it has a time limit, like how many times something happens?
Time limit wise, no. I don't think that it has a time limit, but I do, or what I have realized is the quicker you learn how to forgive, the less you'll keep staying in like that state of hurt.
Right.
So it's not that I feel like it has a time limit. It's just about like, when do you want to come out of this state of hurt? When do you want to operate at a different type of mental capacity,
Right.
or do you want to keep continuing to live in this hurt? Which that's perfectly fine. It's almost like grief. Like, can't nobody tell you how long to grieve? Can't nobody tell you how long it takes to heal, or
Right.
when you feel like you should learn how to forgive. Sometimes you need to sit in that, but you need to sit in it to understand what you don't like about it, so that you can learn when it's time to come out of it. But you got to try not to sit in it for too long.
Right. Now, before we'll come back to that second part of the question, do you feel like you have to, like with the gym, a big thing is like consistency, and I know you like beat yourself up, not you, but like in general, like you, people, everybody beat yourself up for like not going to the gym a day where you know you should or whatever. What do you feel like forgiveness looks like in the gym? Not just consistency wise, but like if you're not hitting the goals you feel like you should hit, you know.
I mean, I think it goes back into that whole trusting the process aspect. Forgiveness is just understanding that it is a process. It's not going to look perfect. Some days are better than others. You might not reach where you thought that you were going to reach, but you have to be graceful with yourself and understanding like that is the part of the journey, and then that's what you try to fall in love with, the aspect of the journey, and even the failure in the journey is what you fall in love with, because it's just like it just builds into that much more of, wow, I really came from this point and now I'm here, or wow, I used to handle this situation in this way and now I can pull myself out of it like way quicker than what I could before.
Right. What's a misconception you feel like you had about forgiveness before you learned how to like truly forgive? And is it true? Did you? Well, I guess a misconception literally means it's not true. So what's a misconception?
The misconception I had of forgiveness was I used to think that forgiveness was solely for the person. Whoever, person or situation that you were trying to forgive.
That wronged you.
Exactly.
Right.
But what I've learned is, yes, it's for them, but really it's for you. Because if you don't learn how to forgive yourself or the person in that situation, like, you're just going to keep living in a state of hurt. So it's really not about the other person and how they feel. It's all about you and your well-being, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Do you feel like everybody deserves forgiveness?
I do, only because we're all humans at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, no matter what someone has done or hasn't done or whatever, everybody is a product of their environment.
Right.
So I can't say how I would have responded being in certain situations or circumstances that people were in or how they handled them.
Right.
All I can say is myself. And so that's why I feel like everyone, I mean, and trust, so people be doing some wild stuff, but I do, regardless, feel like everybody does deserve forgiveness or grace or whatever that looks like. But that doesn't mean forget. That doesn't mean, you know, you should allow certain things to keep happening or whatever, just because like they're human too and you're human and you're trying to be understanding. But it's just like that thought process of like, I don't know what I would have done in certain other people's situations or circumstances. And then it just all leads into understanding that not everybody understands that they have to start with healing that inner child.
Right.
And what they went through in their childhood upbringing and why that makes them respond or act or move the way that they do now.
Right. So it sounds like you, in the debate of nature versus nurture, you kind of believe more in nurture versus nature.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's like the mom in me. But I feel like looking back on my life, I've always kind of been like that understanding of like what someone might have went through and almost having like a soft spot because of thinking like, I don't know what I would have done in that situation. Even though I went through my own things, it's just like everybody's just so different.
Right.
Everybody's so different, and what they go through is so different, and everybody doesn't have the type of support that you might have had when going through certain situations, or maybe someone did have more support, and it's just like a lot. It's a lot.
So does your forgiveness, we'll jump back to the question that was two parts. The second part of that question was, does your forgiveness have a time limit like via for lack of a better like way of describing it, like violation wise, like how many times somebody crossed you? Like, do you give somebody like one time and then they're done, or is it like you can continue hurting me and I'm always gonna find a way to forgive you?
So I feel like there's a difference between forgiveness and separation. And I feel like no matter what is best in my capability, I'll always forgive. There is no time limit on that, because at the end of the day, I'm not forgiving for you, I'm forgiving for myself.
Right. I was going to ask you that, like, who is forgiveness for, do you feel like?
It's for myself.
Right.
I used to think that it was for others until I really understood it was for myself. And once I understood that, I found more peace.
Right.
But separation, absolutely. Absolutely. There's not really like a time limit per se. I wouldn't tell you that you need to separate from certain people, platonic or romantic, after a certain amount of years or whatever. It's just like when you know.
Right.
And you have to kind of weigh the cons and the pros, and also that understanding and asking yourself, like, well, does this person hold me to the same standards that I hold them? Like, do they forgive me or act like they forgive me or whatever, or treat me different from, in their eyes, wrongs that I have done in situations?
Like, are they giving that same forgiveness to
exactly.
you? Right.
Are they giving me the same forgiveness, or am I giving them more forgiveness and they're still holding me to what they felt like my wrongdoings in the relationship were?
Right. I feel like that like plays into like your self-love journey, like, because I've had to deal with that too in different relationships. I've had platonic, romantic, where, I realized that I was forgiving them. Not that you can forgive somebody too much, but for lack of a better way of explaining it, like, I was forgiving them too much to the point I was hurting myself. And I feel like, in that regard, for me, like, forgiveness can have a time limit, because, there's only so much but maybe that's like what you were saying about forgiveness versus separation. Like, I'm a forgive but never forget type of person. Like, I could be cool with you, I could be civil. Or I'll just excommunicate you out of my life because I'm a Scorpio. Duh. But I'll never forget like what you did to me. So we'll never be the same, but it's not beef. Like, we're cool, whatever. Like, I move on with my life, you move on with your life. But I had to learn to love myself through those situations where I felt like I wasn't being treated how I was treating them, and I was giving so much of myself. I was literally like forgiving them so much that it was to the like detriment of myself. So yeah, but another question I had was, do you feel like humans are inherently good?
I feel like we are.
You feel like you're born like with a natural like goodness, and your environment, your nurture, like you feel like our nature is inherently good, and our nurture decides whether we're good or bad people?
Yes.
Interesting.
I feel like everyone is born pure, but I feel like due to environment, situations, and circumstances that people grow up in, that turns them into who they are. Because when you think about it in a child's aspect, a child is pure. They're not. I don't feel like any child is born evil or anything like that. Yes, they might have traits of their parents, but their parents are only products of their environments. And the only reason they have those traits of their parents is due to the environment and the way that their parents handled whatever traumatic things they went through in that situation. I just feel like kids are sponges, and they absorb so much, and they go through so many things and then they don't know how to process things or act about things, and they might not have the best people in their corner telling them like, this is how you respond to this, or let's get this type of help, or being emotionally intelligent and understanding like, wow, I don't know, this might have affected them in this type of way. Let me as an adult try to help figure out how I can help them more.
Now I'm going to ask you a hard question here, and I'm just trying to ask hard questions so this doesn't like make a difference in how I feel. But what do you think about people who like you said, every child is pure, which I would agree with, honestly. But I often wonder about situations where like serial killers, for example, where they have something wrong with their brain. Like, now it could be like, I guess the environment might play a part in that, but like, what about people who have like literal like mental disorders? They could have had the best upbringing possible, and they still end up becoming a certain, like, either like a murderer or, you know, doing whatever horrible things. Do you think that it still plays a part, like it's still just their environment, or do you think their nurture comes into it at all?
I do still think that it's their environment, because at the end of the day, we don't know what they're absorbing behind closed doors. They could be, like you said, but what access do they have? Are they watching certain things on social media? Are they learning, you know, like, kids don't know how to process stuff, so they don't know technically that stuff is bad, and they're getting these certain type of feelings and emotions but don't have anyone to like talk to about it, so they're just like doing whatever they absorb, whatever they're around, whatever they think is cool. But I feel like it goes into the in-womb situation. I don't know what the mother was consuming, not consuming, the environment she was around, what air she was breathing, what food she was eating.
And you can make the point that, like, energy, like, if the earth is energy, like, even if they're, like, in the best, they feel like the best situations, whatever, maybe they're around somebody who, like, their energy is just, like, you heard about monitoring spirits. Have you heard about that before? Like, like, I just recently learned about that, and whether you believe in that is, you know, your own whatever, but yeah, like, they could be around just, like, negative energy that, like, might negatively influence.
I mean, it could also go as far deep into whether it's the doctor or someone who held them after birth, like, energy transfers through that, through touch.
Yeah.
Like, what those people experienced and did.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I think that stuff like, I'm not trying to, like, make light of this stuff either, because I don't know nothing about none of this.
Literally.
But, like, like, voodoo culture and stuff, like, in the South, like, New Orleans and stuff, like, that is so interesting to me, because it's, like, just from an I'm not saying I want to experience nothing with that. Please keep that away from me. But, I think it's, like, interesting because, like, that, culture just dives so much into energy. And yeah, I mean, I think energy is real.
Energy is very real.
It is. No matter how religious you are, like, if you make it more religious than spiritual, like, you would, you know, I'm not going to get into what we learned about growing up, but, like, because I don't even, but yeah, like, I feel like all walks of life kind of believe in energy in some sort of way, unless, I don't know, some atheists might believe in it too. But yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, so do you, I guess, yeah, I guess it is kind of like I think, I would say, in my opinion, like, nature versus nurture, I think they both play a part, but I think like, the older I used to think that nature played a bigger part, like, the younger I was, but the older I got and the more life experience I've had, I definitely think that, like, nurture plays a big part of it, especially when you get older and you realize that all who you are as a person is completely dependent on childhood. Like, not completely, but, like, the base of who you are as a person, like, how you view the world, how you move about the world, your childhood is so important.
Because it could even dive into, like, was the mom dealing with postpartum depression, and what
energy
neglect or whatever did the child feel. And I'll use Leighton as an example. Not in a postpartum depression type of aspect, but, you know, he's high sensory. Like, he needs deep pressure to help calm his body down. And sometimes now, like, looking back, I wonder, because he was jaundiced, which means, like, the first 3 days of life, like, he was able to be swaddled and all of that. But then, literally, before we could be discharged, they found out he was jaundiced. He had to move to the pediatric unit, where he had to be in this incubator. He wasn't allowed to be swaddled. He could just be in his diaper, and he had to be in there all hours of the day, could only come out for 15 minutes to eat, and still had to lay on top of the blanket thing that he needed to get his bilirubin levels down. So then I think, like, well, is he so high sensory and needs that deep pressure because he didn't get what them children need at those moments, which is physical touch, swaddling to feel like they're still in the womb. So it's like something he's, you know, lacking, and he really struggles with deep pressure sensory input, like the need for it.
And I'm not comparing myself to what he goes through at all. I know that he fights a battle that I can't even come close to, you know, relating to, but that is my middle child, King, my nephew. And, you know, I was jaundiced when I was born, and, you know, I'm not autistic to my knowledge, but you know, I would say out of us three, like, who's the one that needs physical touch the most? Who's the most huggy? Like, yeah, right. Like, I'm always, and even in, like, relationships, like, romantic relationships, like, I'm very much a physical touch. Like, that's one of my top love languages. Like, I need that physical touch. So, yeah, I mean, it could be because, like, and it's weird that I was jaundiced, too. And I'm also the middle child. And he's just, like, he's technically 2 zodiac signs behind me. Being a Capricorn. But he's, like, just barely a Capricorn. But, yeah, that's really interesting. I never thought about that before. But yeah, so I would say the last question I had for you is, what does forgiveness mean to you? And what does forgiveness mean to you? And is there anything, did I already ask you if you're trying to still forgive yourself for something?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I think I asked what was the hardest thing.
Yeah.
So what does forgiveness mean to you? And is there anything that you would like to share that you're still trying to forgive yourself for?
So I feel like forgiveness means to me letting go.
Like detachment?
Exactly.
Right.
Just kind of like letting go and letting be. And understanding what is for me will always be for me.
Period.
And what is not will not. So it's also like the law of attraction.
Right.
A little bit. So that's what I would say that forgiveness means to me. And anything that I'm still trying to actively forgive myself on, I would say decisions that I've made throughout life, from teenage years to early adulthood to parenthood to even now. Just certain decisions that I've made in situations or that led me to where I'm at, but then I'm also understanding that I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through certain situations or make the decisions that I made. So yes, I might wish that I made different decisions, but also it's like, do I? Because would I be, I don't know where I would be right now. Right. I don't know what I would be doing. I don't know if I would have the same impact. Right. I mean, I feel like everything happens for a reason. And you're supposed to go through certain things to make you stronger, whether you know that or not. And not everybody can handle or heal from what they went through and get that mindset. And maybe that's why certain people are at different walks of life due to what they went through.
Right.
I try to see all the things that I've went through and see them as, like what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Right. So I just feel like it was just stuff to make me stronger. And then as far as like my kids go, or not that I wish that I had any different type of kids or anything, but I feel like I was meant to have kids, especially special needs kids, just to, I guess, like tap into a different world and help those people. I don't even know the best. Shoot, those people help me. Right. But just being that other type of like support and community and understanding.
I feel like it gave you more patience.
It definitely did.
It allows you to understand people you work with better. Not that you had kids who have the needs that they have. Like that was a cost that was needed for you to have clients or something. Exactly. But like I think it like for your purpose, they were placed in your life in that way for a specific reason. So yeah, that's good. So I lied. I actually have 2 more questions. One would be, what do you have to say to the Topians around the world about who are struggling with forgiveness? Like what, like a one word, or a one sentence, I mean.
Spend more time alone.
Ooh, you ate that. Spend more time alone. I like that. I like that a lot.
And I'll add on to that and say, and release when your body is telling you to release.
Right. Very good. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like in that concept of like emotional release. Like you can feel when your body needs to release. Like try not to hold. Right. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not be okay.
Right. And I think a lot of people struggle with alone time. That's something I struggled with, especially after getting out of a few long-term relationships I had. I had to really learn detachment, and I had to learn how to like, who am I outside? And I think that's like something you learn in your 20s specifically. If you were in a long-term relationship and you get out of them, especially your 20s, like mid to late 20s or like even early 30s. But yeah, that's a good point. So the last thing I'll say you leave us with is if you had something to say to child Kayla, what would you say to her? And it doesn't have to be about forgiveness. It can just be about anything. What would you say to her? Do you want me to pull up a picture of child Kayla? I'm going to pull up a picture of child Kayla.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to pull up a picture of child Kayla because I just took one yesterday. Let me show the camera. I don't know if y'all could even see that. Oops, damn.
Oh my gosh. Child Kayla. Now you gonna make me cry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
For anybody
gosh.
who's wondering, the slogan of this magazine is full bleed, because in magazine printing, when you take something to the edge of the page, that's called a full bleed. And I feel like it's just fitting for this magazine. Like, I plan to have a lot of like deep conversations, and if you come on this, you have to be ready to fully give yourself the space to be emotionally vulnerable. So yes, with that, what would you say to baby Kayla, child Kayla?
I would tell you, Kayla, I would tell you that everybody is not for you. And everybody is not, and everything is not love and light. Everything is not rainbows. People don't have the best interest for you, and people aren't as pure as what you try to give to people. People might not love you the same way that you love them, but those are the things that I would tell that Kayla. Those are the things that I would tell that Kayla.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Childhood Kayla loves you. Childhood Kayla is proud of you. Childhood Kayla is honored to have,
So innocent.
yes, your light, positivity, and your healing in this world. So, sister, I love you, dog.
I love you too.
I'm grateful for you. Thank you for coming on this journey with me.
Girl tried to make me cry out my lashes.
Thank you for talking about forgiveness, and keep being the superstar. We know you are. And for y'all folks at home, that was over coffee.